another meeting, so. Do you want to?
Let's see, which bill is it here? SB 660. Oh, Mr. Chairman.
You start?
Thank you. All I want to do is come down here and kick it off, and we'll simply to state that, you know, this is a matter concerning the CPUC, and there's a need, I believe, for the legislature to begin making some changes to how the PUC runs their operations. We've seen quite a number of incidents recently that show that there's some significant reform needed in the process in which CPUC deliberates rate increases in all business relating to the delivery of energy to our state. And I've been working together with our good Senator Mark Leno on drafting a policy that gets to this, and he's had quite a bit of ideas working with the people in his community, and I and people in my community, and we're coming together and putting it into one bill. And I believe this bill is going to make the necessary changes to usher in a new environment of ethical behavior in the PUC. And I'll have Senator Leno present the crux of the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Wesso and committee members. The chairman is accurate in that the mock-up that should be before you is a merging of the policies that were in SB 215 and SB 660, which will now be jointly authored by Chairman Wesso and me. And that SB 660 before you in mock-up will address the flaws in the California Public Utilities Commission's regulatory process that contributed to the very serious failures in recent years to protect public safety and ratepayer interests. I want to not only thank Chairman Wesso, the committee staff, and the committee for holding your hearings in recent months. I think we learned a lot. They were revelatory. They were rather earth-shaking in some of what was revealed, and we learned a lot from them. And I know you heard from Senator Hill earlier today, but want to thank him too. He has so valiantly and courageously represented his constituents since the tragic blast in San Bruno in 2010. So all of the recommendations that are in the analysis on pages 6 and 7 have been incorporated into the mock-up that is before you at this time. So the bill is intended to improve the internal workings of the CPUC in light of the recent and ongoing revelations that have exposed shortcomings in the effectiveness and transparency of the agency. You know, the commission itself describes its mission as, quote, to serve the public interest by protecting consumers and ensuring the provision of safe and reliable utility service and infrastructure. I think we're all well aware they have lost their way. In recent years, this committee has heard many bills and held hearings related to the aftermath of the San Bruno explosion. These were intended to address the failure of the utilities and the CPUC to create a culture where customer and employee safety comes first and shareholder earnings second. More recently, the internal workings of the commission have been extensively revealed through a release of emails related to San Bruno. And these emails have shown that the current management, structure, and operation to the commission may not be the best means for achieving the commission's mission. So today's hearing includes bills which seek to address these issues. This bill in mock-up has three major components. First, it deals with modifying the powers of the commission president. Secondly, to set some new standards and a process for considering whether a commissioner should be recused for bias or prejudice. And then lastly, set some new rules for ex parte communications between the CPUC regulators and the companies they regulate. So we have each of those three categories. I'm not sure if we're time limited. I could walk you through each of the three or just conclude and allow you to ask questions as you choose, Mr. Chair. Would you like me to go through them?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Matt Friedman on behalf of the Utility Reform Network. We've been working very diligently with Senator Leno, the chairman's staff, and Senator Leno's staff on the development of SB 215 and now SB 660. We're active practitioners and have been for decades in front of the California PUC, and we see firsthand how large moneyed interests, specifically the utilities and other special interests, have abused the ex parte meeting process to gain an unfair advantage in the proceedings in front of the PUC. We think that the reforms in this bill will help to close some of those loopholes and to create a more level playing field where all parties are able to participate on more equal terms and to have the dialogue occur in public and not in private. In addition, we've identified in some of the testimony presented in front of this committee during the oversight hearings concerns about the process for disqualifying commissioners who have been, let's just say, very deeply involved in deals that have come before the commission for consideration. And one of the things we pointed out is that even direct involvement in the outlines of a deal that is under consideration is not the basis for disqualification in front of the PUC. And we filed several motions over the last 15 years to try to do that, all unsuccessfully. We think that at a minimum, the PUC needs to adopt a better process and better standards around this. And then finally, this bill would reform the way that the commissioners approach the management of their own agency. Right now, the president has relatively unchecked power, and staff report only to the president. And we don't think that this reform, which was adopted in the late 90s, has had a positive impact on the commission. We think there are 5 commissioners, and they should all be involved in managing their own agency. Right now, only one voice really counts. And so for those reasons, we think that the proposed changes in SB 660 make a whole lot of sense, and we would be happy to answer any questions about our role and any questions that members might have about some of the specific language. Thank you. Thank you, Senator.
Eddie Moreno on behalf of Sierra Club California in support.
Stephanie Chen for the Greenlining Institute. For the reasons that we stated in our Oversight Committee testimony, as well as the reasons stated by Mr. Friedman, except for the 40-year history, we are also in support. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody in opposition?
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Michael Day. I'm representing not any of my clients, but 6 other veteran PUC practitioners who over the years have represented consumer groups, environmental groups, large and small business organizations, cities, and counties before the PUC. And we're only here to talk about 2 specific aspects of the bill, the ex parte rules and the Bagley-Keene restrictions. That could be, and I apologize, I may not have the latest markup. On the ex parte rules, our concern is that the regulated utilities, the largest utilities in California, have a tremendous advantage in the hearing room at the PUC. They control all the information about their rates. We have to fight like crazy to get it from them. And they have tons and tons of lawyers and expert witnesses that are funded by ratepayers. And we cannot outgun them in the hearing room. And so it doesn't matter whether you represent a very small customer or a medium-sized customer or a city or a county, or even if you're a party who can't afford to hire a lawyer to show up in a PUC proceeding and represent you, your only real way of sitting down with a commissioner and advisor and explaining to them the issues that are affecting you in this case has to be protected. And if it isn't, if the more restrictions are put in place, those parties will all be disadvantaged, and you know who comes out the winner? The largest utilities in California. And we cannot believe that that's the intention of the bill or even in the public interest. Specifically, we think that restrictions on the rate setting and the quasi-legislative ex parte context should not always require all parties to be invited, the 3-day notice, and the equal time meeting. If you do that, what you do is you strongly discourage the PUC commissioners from taking the meeting at all. And that's what they're doing now. And I don't mean to criticize the commissioners, but quite frankly, with the uncertainty and the criticism they've received, they're very nervous about taking any meetings with anybody until all these rules are finalized and resolved. But if you put these types of things in place for rate setting meetings and quasi-legislative meetings, It will be much harder for the people who need to have equal access to the commissioners to do so. So we strongly urge that those provisions not be made more strict in this bill. As the senators indicated, if there's some more changes to Bagley-Keene, we can talk about that at another time. Thank you very much for the opportunity to make comments.
Thank you very much. And just to make my comments to Mr. Day and my response is, I used to be a coastal commissioner and ex parte applied to us. And I took that into consideration in making these rules because we did have people that were very concerned about having to disclose, and it did chill meeting. But I looked in this case, and as a coastal commissioner, I did take ex parte, and I did disclose it. And in the case of the PUC members, unlike the coastal commissioners, they are full-time. This is their only job, to be PUC members. And I think with that comes an obligation that they should meet with people in the community. And I, that is, I think, the intent of what we want them to do is to reach out to all people in the community. That's why I think these rules try to create that standard that they do have to meet, but they have to disclose. So I understand your comments. Senator Canella?
Yeah, just to confirm the Bagley-Keene open meeting, that's gone. That was a bad idea, I thought. I mean, I think government works best when it's out in front of everyone. I understand the intent, so I'm glad that was removed. So thank you.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Did you want to close?
Just very briefly, I don't think anyone speaks for the little guy and for the ratepayer more than our sponsor. And our sponsor has been working on these reform issues for many, many years. They were the ones who brought this to our office. I have great trust in them. And I think to argue that the status quo is actually beneficial, any changes to the status quo is going to be beneficial to the big guys, is a concept I have trouble grasping. But again, sincere thanks to you, Chairman Hueso, working with us on this, to the committee who's taken such a serious interest in reform of the CPUC, and again to Senator Hill, I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. And by the sponsor, you meant turn, for the record.
I'm sorry?
And as
Yes,
the sponsor,
sorry.
you meant turn.
That's right.
Okay, very well. We have a motion by Senator Leyva. Clerk, please call the roll.
Do pass as amended to appropriations. Wesso?
Aye.
Wesso, aye. Fuller? No. Fuller, no. Canella? Aye. Canella, aye. Hertzberg? Aye. Hertzberg, aye. Hill? Lara? Leyva? Aye. Leyva, aye. McGuire? Aye. McGuire, aye. Morel? Morel, no. Pavley? Wolk? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Needs one more vote.
Very well. So we'll hold the roll open on that bill. Great
Thank you very
job.
much, Mr. Chair and committee members.
Can we open the roll on? We're going to begin, as we get other members in to come in, we'll begin with, for those present, so you can be excused, I guess. Item number 1 is SB 48 Hill. We can call the roll on that one.
SB 48 Hill, do pass as amended to appropriations. Current vote 6-0. Chair voting aye. Canella? Aye. Canella, aye. Hertzberg? Aye. Hertzberg, aye. Lara? Pavley? Wolk? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 8. Do you still want to hold it?
We'll keep that roll open, see if the other members show up. We'll go to SB 541 Hill. Clerk, please call the roll.
Do pass as amended to appropriations. Current vote 9-0. Pavley? Wolk?
Okay. On item 3, SB 550 Hertzberg.
Do you want to leave? Are you going to leave this one open?
Leave it open, yes.
Okay. Do pass as amended to appropriation. Current vote 4-2. Chair voting aye. Fuller? No. Fuller, no. Hill? Lara? Pavley? Wolk? So it's 4-3. We need 2 more votes on that one.
You need 2 more for it to get out?
Yeah, we need Hill and Lara, and I think Wolk. So we'll wait for them.
Okay. We'll We'll wait 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They did, they called it?
He is, of course, he's on the first two of the last two, so 550 and 6.
Okay, we'll open the roll on 550 for Senator Hill to vote. Senator Clerk, please call the roll.
SB 550 do pass as amended to appropriations. Current vote 4-3. Hill? Aye. Hill, aye.
Okay, we don't have to call the rest of them back
Okay.
here.
So
We'll
we
keep the
need
roll
one
open
more.
on that bill.
And then,
And on SB 660, the Leno Wesso bill.
do pass as amended to appropriations. Hill? Aye. Hill, aye. That one has enough until.
Thank you. You're good.
You're the two.
You voted on your bills, and you just voted on Hertzberg. What other bills are being heard right now? What other committees are?
BNP.
An estimate. Welcome, Senator. We'll open the roll on all the bills. Clerk, please call the roll on item 1, SB 48 by Hill, the Public Utilities Commission.
Reform. Do pass as amended to appropriations, current vote 8-0. Lara, Pavley, Wolk. Wolk, aye. 9-0.
Not a problem. I understand the system here.
Do you want to
On
Nelson?
item 2, on SB 541, Hill Bill regarding Public Utilities Commission for Higher Transportation Carriers on enforcement. Clerk, please call the roll.
Do pass as amended to appropriations, current vote 9-0. Chair voting aye. Pavley, Wolk. Wolk, aye. See that bill's out?
On item 3, SB 550, net energy, bill regarding net energy metering by Senator Hertzberg. Clerk, please call the roll.
Do pass as amended to appropriations, current vote 5-3. Chair voting aye. Lara, Pavley, Wolk. Wolk, aye. 6-3. It's out.
That bill is out. On item 4, SB 660, by Leno Weso, Public Utilities Commissions regarding proceedings ex parte communications. Clerk, please call the roll.
Do pass as amended to appropriations, current vote 6-2. Chair voting aye. Lara, Pavley, Wolk. Wolk, aye. 7-2. Do you want to say all the bills are out?
Thank you. All the bills are out, so we're going to close the roll. I understand Lara is presenting, won't be able to make it down here.
Okay.
Meeting adjourned.